men's college basketball. We did our ladies. Now we got to do our men. Let's get to the men. Let's get to the weekend, shall we? On Friday, we had the St. John's Red Storm go into UConn and knock off the UConn Huskies. The reigning defending champions already have 7 losses. They already have 7 losses. Darren Hurley came back and he has a team that he might not be used to at this moment in time. Because 7 losses already is not what you expected from the reigning defending champions, especially when you bring Dan Hurley back. And he didn't take the Lakers' job. But what Coach Pitino is doing in St. John's right now, them boys are 21-3 on the season. Rick Pitino has the Red Storm playing some good basketball. And you can't deny that. It can't be denied. Now, we're going to be respectable to Dan Hurley and the UConn Huskies. You lost 7 games already, but you are the reigning defending champion. So we're going to give you some leeway from the time being. But remember, this is February 12th. All right? You got about 3 weeks left. Let me see. Let me look at the calendar. Going through. So you got close to a month. All right. The last regular season game for college basketball is March 9th. And that's Michigan and Michigan State. So you got about a month left, Dan Hurley, to figure some stuff out. Get UConn looking like UConn again. Excuse me. But we're going to give you a month. That's all you got. Because you already got 7 losses. I think this is more losses than the last 2 seasons combined for UConn. Because, jeez, I've never seen UConn like this. But that's not the only game we're going to talk about when it comes to UConn. We'll get back to UConn and something else that was unusual for us to watch when it comes to the UConn Huskies. But that was Friday. Let's go to Saturday. Those of you who know me, you know who I'm a fan of. Those of you who don't know and you're watching Shooting Lights Out for the first time, I am an avid Florida Gator fan. Okay. As you can see here, the first game on the docket, Florida 90, Auburn 81, down in the jungle of Auburn, Alabama. This is the second time the Florida Gators have knocked off number 1 this year. Go back to when they played against the Tennessee Volunteers when they was number 1 down in Gainesville, and they beat them by 30. By 30. Fast forward to Saturday, they dumped. Don't let the 9-point win fool you. Florida dominated number 1 Auburn. Dominated them in front of their own crowd in their own building. It was a dominating performance. Alex Cardone, our front court was sensational. Clayton Jr. was on one. Will Richards hit timely shots. The defense of the Gators has been very impressive this year. The defense of the Gators has been very impressive. Todd Golden has done a phenomenal. This is third season at the head with the Florida Gators, and this is the result that we're getting. As I like to tell people, I told them on my show, Bearing Down and Grid Down, when I talk college football. I tell them on this show, and I'm going to say it again. I like to give coaches 3 years. When you give coaches 3 years, that gives them time to year one, get to know the player, get to know your team, and figure out, see how your team plays, see what we need to make mistakes at. That's why I like year 1 to be year 1. Year 1 is whatever. Okay, whatever that is, okay, that's the starting point. Now we need to see year 2. I need to see a little bit of improvement. You saw what year 1 was like. You seen what the holes was there. You see what adjustments need to be made. Let's make those adjustments to year 2. Year 3 is where your direction, where your program is supposed to be, because now you did your 2 years. Now year 3 is where you put your imprint on the program that you're coaching. As you can see, this is year 3 for Todd Golden. The Florida Gators are 20-3 on the season after Saturday's game. Now they played last night. We're gonna get to what they did last night on Monday. They played an extra game, but we'll get to that in a minute. Alabama got a nice win on the road versus a tricky Arkansas team coached by John Calipari. So Nate Oates, phenomenal job making sure your team was ready to be in a fight with John Calipari and Arkansas Razorbacks, especially after they went to Rupp Arena and knocked off the Kentucky Wildcats. You had the Bud Williams Aggies of Texas A&M getting a 3-point victory at 15 ranked Missouri. Needed that win. Caleb Love and the Wildcats of Arizona got a much needed win, over 13 ranked Texas Tech at home. That's Saturday. Now let's go to we have some upsets on Saturday. Clemson knocked off Duke by 6. Big win for the Clemson Tigers. When everybody and their mama know, their grandma, their auntie, their uncles, their granddaddies, their daddies know that the ACC is Duke's to win, and everybody else is in for the invitation of seeing who will be the last one standing in their way before they be our crowned ACC champions. Clemson has made a case now that if we was to see them for the ACC title, we can beat them. But you had your one chance. I don't think you can do it again. That's just my opinion. Creighton upset it, 11 ranked Marquette. And by the way, I don't know what's going on with Shaka Smart and the Golden Eagles up in Marquette, but it's been a struggle for these guys. They'll look good for a couple of games, and next thing you know, they getting blasted. They look good for a couple of games, then they got blasted by Creighton. And then finally, the team that was picked number 1 in the preseason, the Kansas Jayhawks. Now, if I'm gonna get on UConn about being the back-to-back national champions and already have 7 losses, when you're the preseason number 1 and you already had 7 losses, Kansas Jayhawks and Bill Self, that's a problem. And you let 11-11 team, Kansas State beat you in the Sunflower Showdown. What's going on in Lawrence? What is going on in Lawrence with the Kansas Jayhawks? You're not the team that everybody expected you to be. What is going on here? We need some answers, Bill Self. We need some answers. Because we thought the Big 12 was going to be yours. Apparently, it's not. That this season might be belonging to Houston, of all teams. But man, what is going on in Kansas? What's going on at Storrs, Connecticut with the UConn? What is going on with these teams all of a sudden? These teams ain't the teams that we thought we were going to get. But that's what happens. And here is the Lully AP Top 25 ranking that came out Monday. Auburn is still number 1 because Duke lost and Tennessee lost and a lot of other teams lost. Alabama's number 2, Duke number 3, along with the Florida Gators. The one thing I hate about the AP. How is both teams get the same rankings? It's beyond me. If you want to put Duke 3 and make us 4, let's do that. Or make us 3 and make Duke 4. Don't matter. But these same rankings is stupid. It's only done in the AP. Only done in the AP. And the problem is with the AP, this is the only ranking system we have in the AP because we don't go with the coaches poll. We don't go with the USA polls. We just go with the AP poll, which is stupid. We need a new ranking system. That's just my opinion. Tennessee is 5. Houston is 6. Purdue is 7. Texas A&M 8. St. John's 9. Iowa State 10. Now, as I did with the ladies, as you can see, Auburn, Alabama, Florida, Tennessee, 4 teams in the top 25 from the Southeastern Conference. Then you can add Texas A&M, which is 5 in the top 10. That's 5 teams. That's half of your top 25 SEC teams. And then you add a Kentucky, a Ole Miss, a Missouri, a Mississippi State. 9 teams from the Southeastern Conference ranked in the top 25. I'm not making this stuff up, people. When I tell you the Southeastern Conference is on one this shit, they are on one this shit with the ladies. There's 7 teams from that conference in the top 25. On the men's side, as you can see, there are 9 teams from that conference in the top 25. I'm not making this stuff up. I don't know what happened, but the Southeastern Conference is on one in basketball, which is something we're not used to seeing. But this conference currently is the best conference in basketball. Now, if you have any adjustments, please share it in the comments. I'm all ears for it. But what I'm saying is, as of right now, with the data that we have, and everybody has the same data, okay, the Southeastern Conference is the best conference in basketball currently. It used to be the Big 12 and the Big 10 and the ACC at times, but right now it is the Southeastern Conference. Now, don't get me wrong. Duke will have something to say about it. Houston will have something to say about it. Iowa State will have something to say about it. The way St. John has been playing, they could have something to say about it. Never count out the defending champions. They're not even ranked, but we're not counting them out. But right now, the Southeastern Conference is definitely on one. And then we get to yesterday. We got Elijah Martin back for the Florida Gators, but we lost Alex Condon. Thankfully, it's only an ankle sprain. Could have looked it worse. We still handle business and beat Mississippi State 81-68, 15-point win. We go to 21-3 on the season. Kentucky bounced back and they knocked off Tennessee. Matter of fact, they swept Tennessee. They went to Knoxville and knocked off Tennessee earlier, I think in January. Now they went home to Rupp Arena and they knocked off Tennessee yet again. This time 75-64. So Tennessee suffers a big loss. Kentucky bounces back from a tough loss. And then speaking of Purdue, they suffered a loss to 20-ranked Michigan 75-73. The Big Ten is in limbo. Who would ever thought the Big Ten is in limbo right now? We had some upsets as well last night. As I mentioned earlier, the Indiana Hoosiers stopped Tom Izzo from breaking the all-time Big Ten record of Bob Knight's, which he did it with the Indiana Hoosiers, by the way. They went to East Lansing and came out with a 4-point victory. So Tom Izzo will have to wait till the next game to break that record. What is up with Kansas State and knocking off ranked teams? The ladies did it. Now the men did it. They took down 13-ranked Arizona, 73-70. And then, yes, ladies and gentlemen, yes, if you're looking at the bottom of the screen and you see something real, yes, that is correct. UConn, who is not ranked, the reigning defending back-to-back champions, are not ranked. They went into Nebraska and knocked out the Creighton Blue Jays, 70-66, who was ranked 24th now. Yeah, very disturbing, ain't it? Creighton is ranked and UConn is not. That's how bad it is at the stores right now. I don't know what's going on in stores, but Dan Hurley, the reigning champions are not ranked. Maybe they get back in the rankings when next we get about. But they still got some more games to play. So hopefully they'll win those games and not lose any of them. So, but yes, seeing UConn without a number beside their name is very weird. But this is where we are at, because these are the things that happen when you already lost 7 games. So, yeah, very strange. Very strange. But hey, UConn, they bounced back. They got to win. Dan Hurley let the Blue Jay crowd hear about it. So